Good morning. I feel like this is more of a classic coffee time because my dad shipped me some beans. Well, he sent me with them when I left for Christmas. He gave me the mix of beans that we use for our coffee time. And so I feel like this is actually, it tastes like what it's supposed to in tradition. My heart is feeling light this morning because I just had a conversation with someone and I've been feeling overcommitted. Like I'm a helpy helperson and there are so many cool things in my life and there are so many awesome opportunities to be a leader and to work on teams. And so I've just been gobbling them up, right? And I there was this opportunity with the cabaret and I was in sort of like a creative role and I just got overwhelmed with all the stuff that I was doing and so then I wasn't able to devote the time to it that I wanted. And then I felt really bad and so I just called her and I was like, "Hey, this has been weighing on my heart. I'm really sorry that I dropped the ball on this. I wanted to let you know that I did that and I apologize." And she was like, "I don't see it that way at all. Like you got us started and I did this all alone before. So like any amount that you've contributed is helpful and what I needed and I don't view it that way." And I'm so grateful. I used to carry things like that around. And now I know to just be direct with it. Because she could have also said, "Yeah, I was wondering about what happened there." Or, like, "Yeah, that really upset me." And, like, that would have given us the opportunity to address it. So either way, it would have been resolved. This is, like, best case scenario where, like, I thought that I let her down, but I didn't. So I'm excited. Today is the sits probe, kinda, not really. The sits. We'll call it sits for short because it's not the full shebang. We have that for our cabaret today. So we're gonna put the music together with the song. It's gonna be done. And then I'm getting a massage today. I'm so lucky. I have a friend who's studying massage and is learning with me. It's interesting the way I've felt things change in my body. Like this week, it was 3 days of men in suits being in an environment that was energetically saturated, where I wasn't with other, um, what is it? Other radiating energy sources. Like I radiate energy and I spend a lot of time with people who also do, and thus we fill each other up. And it doesn't take energy for me to radiate energy. It is that is the it's not as if I'm summoning it. That's just what happens. I have permeable outsides, which has a downside because if I am around people who are only absorbing energy and not radiating energy, I'm being continuously siphoned, while also being saturated with different things that they may not be aware that they're putting off. To be honest, I don't understand a lot of this energy stuff from an intellectual perspective, from a structured perspective, from a scientific perspective. Like, that's not how I'm speaking to it. I'm speaking in terms of my personal experience, a lifetime of carrying the energy that I do, how I interact with the world. So that's my just raw perception of it, is that I am radiating sparkle energy and that is being continuously absorbed rather than being reflected back to me. Until last night, I went to a bonfire jam sesh with these beautiful humans and talented musicians. And it so filled my cup. We had a fire outside. We all made the stir fry together. By we all, I mean I stirred the stir fry. I did a pretty great job when it was my turn. And then, this just badass musician pulled out an acoustic bass, which I had never seen before, and it was delicious. And they had this true alto bass voice. very, very low for a woman's voice. I hate calling it that, but we're talking in terms of like biology. I have a woman's voice. I wish I had better language for this. Like we in chorus they call it like treble choirs. Treble choirs are like the women's choirs. But so much of it is based on gender, and I wish I had better language to describe her voice and her body. But anyhow, it was amazing because we got to do all of this improvisational harmony, and I have been wanting to do that for some time. My soul has been craving it, and finally, I work with so many amazing musicians, and improv is not everyone's style. Really, really great musicians simply don't improv. And so it was really, really, really cool to be with people who kind of knew how to dance around each other vocally. Like how can we, when are the moments when I'm holding the melodic line? What are the moments when I'm branching off into a harmony? Where are the moments where I am recalling a melody from a few songs ago? And rather than being a performance of music, it was a creation of music. It was a creation of a story. It was the speaking of a spell, because all of these words and all of the emotions that they carried with them, we collectively brought all of that stuff that we carry with us out of our body through our voices. And then the voices danced together over the fire and released. Just like the fire, I remember this moment. We finished this really, really powerful song that we had created together. And finally, it was like I did the final drum, right, to end the song. And the fire goes, and all of these sparks go flying. It was magical. It was so cool. And I felt so close to the gods, and I felt so close to my own godliness. I got too excited. Not too excited. I got so excited that I spilled my coffee. I find that because of how I was raised, I get really, really harsh with myself when I do things like spill things. My immediate thought used to be yelling, because that was how it was received as a kid. Like, I spilled something and I got yelled at. So I try really hard now to be like, oh, you spilled something. That's what humans do. Let's clean it up. It's like the most uncomfortable reparenting. So yeah, after this week of men in suits absorbing my energy, while also being permeable, it was like I was trying to be receptive to who they were as people, to make connections. And that was why I made so many really beautiful connections, while also at the same time protecting my source, knowing that there were many people who did not deserve that energy that radiates off of me, and being protective of my heart while also being open-hearted. So that balance was really hard. And by the time I rolled up to this harmony bonfire, I was so drained, and saturated at the same time. And this was the salve, this was the healing balm that I didn't know that I needed until I got there. And I'm so grateful that I've been looking for these people, and I was invited by a friend into that environment that I've been seeking. And I think that's how it works. Sometimes it's immediate. Sometimes you seek and you find. Other times we work our way there. So I had that experience yesterday of having worked my way to where I wanted to be, and then just one day finding myself there. It was really beautiful. And sharing a meal together, being around kids. I'm not around kids ever. I'm only ever around adults. And it is a very different energy being with kids, especially because I don't have kids. I don't have younger cousins. And so when I am met with kids, I speak to them like adults, I'm not a buttoned up adult. I speak to them in an honest way. Like, for example, one of them was asking me, why does the wood get white in the fire? And I said, I think I have an answer to part of your question, but I don't know the full answer to your question. And then I explained what I know as far as chemistry and changing of the states of matter, how things like light and heat, those can indicate a change of state, and how like the change of color and the white and the heat and the light, like all of that is matter changing state. And so the wood itself is changing. And then I said, I don't, that's what I know, but I don't have a full answer to your question past that. And she was like, okay. And so it's just really cool because with adults, you don't talk about that stuff. You don't talk about like what you learned in school a lot of the time. You don't ask each other the obvious questions. Because I think a lot of the time we, without a beginner's mind, operate at the baseline that everyone knows everything. And if we don't know something, it's because we personally don't know it. But the curiosity of kids gives me an opportunity to kind of delve deeper into the things that I forgot I knew. And they asked me, do you want to play? Do you want to play? And it was wild. Like I realized I've been disconnected with my sense of play because I came out of the bathroom and they were all chasing each other. And I was like, whoa, and they were like, come play with us. Do you want to play? Do you want to play? And she was like right up in my face. And I was like, I was literally frozen. It was wild. They were like, do you want to play? Like, ah! And I was just like, I am rarely speechless. I was completely speechless. And I just didn't know how to respond, and I didn't know how to engage, They were chasing each other, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable chasing a kid. I'm so disconnected with that, like, playful part of myself that I felt out of my element. And so that was a really helpful cue. Like, how can I get back into play? And how can I, in an environment that is about community, that is about family, as someone without kids, and who is kind of out of my element there, like how can I embrace what that environment offers, and what can it teach me about myself? What can it teach me about where I've kind of gone dormant? My play muscle is dormant apparently. So beautiful day yesterday, and I was successful in the sales goals that I had made. Not overly, but it was my first time, and I can see a future doing what I did, which is communicating my genuine enthusiasm and introducing myself to people so that when we connect, when we jive, they can do what happened yesterday, which is someone saying, I love you. How can I work with you? And just going from there. So I'm grateful for this day. The rain has cleared. The coffee's good. Thank you for spending coffee time with me. I love you. I hope that you have a good day too. See you tomorrow.